Welcome to TICE. Today we are here at Mozambique Climate Conference and I have with me Mr. Nalin Agarwal, the founding partner at Climate Collect. Welcome, Mr. Agarwal.
Thank you.
So we are here at the Mozambique Climate Conference. So what are your thoughts on the conference?
Well, this has been a long time coming, actually. We've been thinking about doing an in-person conference for a while. And we finally decided on the theme being to bring together enablers in the climate tech startup ecosystem. And we've managed to pull it off. We had about 160 people in the first day, which is actually far exceeding what we had imagined and even expected. And it's important to understand that this is not something that is a wide topic. It is wide enough, but it's also very focused on climate tech startups, on climate tech startup ecosystems, right? Which is, in that sense, a fairly targeted audience, right? So we've made sure that we've got all the important organizations in the space and the decision makers within those organizations. We're quite happy. I think I've learned a lot today. I've learned a lot about how organizations are thinking about their strategies to support climate tech startups and to support the ecosystem. We've also learned that there's a huge openness to collaboration. It's not just something that people say, but in fact, it is something that people truly believe. There's a conviction around saying that partnerships are important and collaboration is important because ultimately mitigating and adapting to a changing climate is a collective goal and a collective effort. So it's very heartening for us.
Also, you are associated with Climate Collective since its inception. You are the founding partner. So how has been the journey with it?
So when we started the Climate Collective, the ecosystem was nascent. There was probably 30, 40 startups in climate tech in India, right? Today there's over 4,000. So definitely it's been an interesting journey. It was important when we started out to send the right signals to startups because, Indian entrepreneurs, any entrepreneurs have a lot of opportunity costs, right? We can become smart entrepreneurs from India can go to Sweden, to the US, to South America to start startups, right? It was important to show signals to entrepreneurs that climate is a worthwhile sector to be in. It's a large enough sector to be in within India, right? So it was an effort to try and build the signaling mechanism, the tools and platform that could get people together, different stakeholders together, to make sure startups have the support that they need. I think it's been very interesting. I still don't think we can make a playbook for this because it's a journey that has its nuances. But overall, we've had obviously we've had luck and we've had external environment on our side over time. The first 3-4 years was fully uphill, right? And then we started seeing some changes in the external environment around COVID, around 2020. And then since then, we've seen growth and interest and sustained trust for the climate tech startups and ecosystem. Not enough still. We need far more action, faster action, and wider support for startups and in general climate action. But we're seeing that it is going in the right direction and the right trajectory.
Also, the key figure at Climate Collective, what is one of the biggest success stories which you would like to share with our audience?
I don't know if there's one that I want to highlight, but there's a few things we're very proud of. One, I'll be very honest, is the team we built at Climate Collective. I think very proud of that. We have a great team. They're all passionate people who really feel for climate, who really feel for their work, right? For me, it's everything is about people because people move the needle in any sector, right? If people are not convinced about something, nothing will happen. So I think we're very proud of the team, very proud of the way that they approach work, the way they approach partnerships, because ultimately, like we've said, this is all about partnership building. So of course, internally that is important. There's quite a few programs we're very proud of, right? The Electron Vibe program is something we're very proud of. Increasingly, we're spending a lot more resources on industrial decarbonization through startups, with climate challenges, very important for us. We're also mobilizing more capital, we're setting up a seed fund. All of this is very important. For us, this ecosystem model is critical, right? One thing on its own is okay, is great. Two things on their own is better. all combined is bigger than the sum of its parts, right? So we're generally happy and proud of the ecosystem model we built. Yeah, I think these two things are something we're proud of. In general, the third thing is also the way we partner. I think we have it's not always easy to partner for organizations. So I think we have a certain approach to partnerships and collaboration that is fairly unique. And I think we're generally proud of that. We realize different partners may have different priorities. Making sure that you come to common ground is not always easy. We strive to do that, and I think that's something we're also proud of.
Funding is a big challenge for startups in climate tech space.
Sure.
But apart from that, what are the other challenges that you see?
A lot of things in climate, in the markets that climate startups or climate tech startups operate in, are regulated or quasi-regulated sectors. So those are things outside your control. Earlier, there used to be a talent mismatch. In general, there's always a mismatch between job seekers and job providers. That happens in climate just like in any other sector, right? The demand side still is something that we hope changes fast, because we've seen a lot of supply side changes. We have solar, which has dropped 90% over 10 years. Lithium ion prices have fallen as well. I think in climate, a lot of things are happening. They're all positive. There's no longer talent gap. The capital needs to be allocated and then directed at the right interventions, at the right projects, at the right stages. That is something that can be bettered. But I think the pace of action needs to be accelerated now. I think we've heard a lot today about inflection points and us having perhaps crossed inflection points. It's critical that we accelerate the pace of change. I think that's very important. Yeah.
Also, it's a stereotype in our society that like climate tech and climate and all these things are a CSR thing. And if somebody is working in this sector, they are always being
Right.
called crazy. Like, why are you doing it?
Okay.
Sort of a thing. There's this sound, right?
Sure. Perhaps.
So, what keeps you going, and what inspired you to really come up with Climate Collective,
Yeah.
like in 2016 and 2018?
I mean, okay, you're right. Till a few years ago, this was a CSR-driven space.
Right.
No longer. We support only for-profit businesses. We've always supported for-profit businesses. I've been in climate since 2007, so much before clean energy was mainstream, I would say. So, in terms of, there was no grand challenge, I guess, at the time. We were young people. Even when we started Climate Collective, there was something about the climate tech space, the clean tech space. We are clean energy entrepreneurs before that. There was something compelling about that. We were generally committed to the space, right? But we knew that we did not want to simply treat this as a pure CSR, like you said, CSR-driven activity. This had to be something that could stand on its legs, that the startups we supported were ultimately businesses that could scale on their own, right? So I think when we look at the journey back, it's different from when we kind of looked at the starting point and said, what are we doing? A lot of things as entrepreneurs are fuzzy. You may have a vision, but how you get there is oftentimes not that clear. We follow the same thing. We try to look for signs, sense making, etc. Right? But just to answer your question, we're deeply committed to climate for years. So that was already in place. What we do and how we do it, when we do it, was iterative, and we realized how to do it better as we went along. Yeah. So that's it.
Coming to the end of this conversation,
Okay.
Like you partially answered this in your
Yes.
first answer as well,
Right.
but just to be precise, what are your 3 key takeaways from today's conference?
Okay, I think, yeah, like you said, I think I covered it. I think the spirit of collaboration is strong. One, the spirit of openness is strong, which is excellent. And I think, I heard comments from people like saying that this is a unique conference that has changed actually the landscape of climate conferences, and some of the plenary speeches, etc. They said were some of the best they've heard. So I think it's really like we're seeing the power of bringing the right set of people together in the same place, bringing them in a place that kind of gives you an open and safe space to talk about things, facilitates conversations. I think we're seeing the power of that today. So I'm very happy with that.
Thank you, Nalin, for this insightful conversation.